I took my wife to a party last Friday night, thinking it would be just another dull networking event. I'd been invited by a business contact who wanted to introduce me to some investors. It was at a mansion on the edge of the city, white pillars, marble driveway, champagne fountains. The kind of place where people measure their worth in car brands and wristwatches. I didn't tell anyone what I did for a living. That was the point. I prefer staying invisible. My name's Jack Rivers. I build companies. I buy the broken ones, fix them quietly, sell them for more. I don't flash money. I don't wear designer suits. Most people see a guy in a plain jacket and think, average. My wife, Lena, used to love that about me, said she was tired of show-offs. At least, that's what she told me when we married. But people change when the lights get brighter. The party hummed with laughter, music, expensive perfume. Lena looked stunning in her silver dress, and I was proud, until I noticed her eyes wandering. Not toward the art or the skyline view. Toward him. A tall man with slick back hair, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my first car. He introduced himself later as Chase Monroe, venture capitalist, self-appointed king of charm. The kind of guy who made every sentence about himself sound like a compliment to you. He smiled at Lena the way a wolf studies a gate left open. I excused myself to greet the host, and when I returned, Lena was gone. I scanned the crowd, caught sight of her near the bar, laughing, touching Chase's arm. My chest tightened. I reminded myself, stay calm. Appear small. People reveal themselves faster when you don't interrupt. By midnight, the crowd thinned. Lena approached me, a different sparkle in her eyes. Jack, she said softly, Chase offered to give me a ride home. You look tired, you don't mind, right? Her words stung. You came with me, I said. She shrugged, half smiling. Don't make this a thing. It's just a ride. Then Chase appeared beside her, sliding his hand into his pocket. He pulled out a crisp dollar bill, flicked it toward me with a smirk. Don't worry, buddy. I'll take good care of her tonight. Laughter rippled from a couple nearby who overheard. That sound, mocking, shallow, cut deeper than any insult. Lena didn't protest. She didn't even look ashamed. She just followed him out, her silver dress shimmering under the chandeliers as the doors closed behind them. I stood there, dollar bill on the floor, heart pounding like a slow drum. For a moment, I wanted to shout, to chase them, to tear something apart. But instead, I smiled. A small, cold smile. Because Chase Monroe had no idea whose life he'd just stepped into. I drove home alone. The city lights blurred past like ghosts of better nights. Every memory of Lena, the way she used to curl against me on rainy mornings, the promises whispered after cheap wine, turned sour. When I got home, I walked through our house slowly. I looked at the photos on the wall. Her smile. My hand on her shoulder. And I realized something brutal, she never really loved me. She loved the safety. The story. The man who looked steady enough to build her a future. But the second she saw a shinier version, she switched lanes without braking. So I did what I always do when a company fails, I shut it down cleanly. That night, I called the locksmith. Changed every lock. Every passcode. Every account we shared. By sunrise, she didn't exist in my home anymore. At 8 a.m., Lena called. I let it ring. Then another call, her mother. Then again, Chase's number flashing on my screen. I ignored them all. Around noon, I went to my office. The receptionist greeted me with the usual smile. No one there knew anything about what happened, and that was good. In business, emotions are leaks. I spent the day finalizing one last transaction, an acquisition I'd been negotiating quietly for weeks. The company's name? Monroe Holdings. Chase Monroe's pride and joy. He'd been desperate for new funding after a string of bad investments. My team had approached him under a different corporate name. He thought we were just another group of silent investors. He'd signed the final papers that morning. By 5 p.m., I owned 51% of his empire. That evening, Lena showed up at the gate, hair messy, mascara streaked, pounding on the door. "Jack! What the hell, my key doesn't work." I watched through the security camera feed on my phone. Her panic looked genuine that I pressed the intercom. "It's not your key anymore." She froze. "Jack, please, I didn't mean for last night to go that far. Chase, I cut her off. "You chose him. Now go enjoy the ride." I ended the call. A minute later, my phone buzzed again. Chase's number. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. The voice on the other end wasn't charming anymore. It was shaking. "Jack, you son of a, what the hell did you do? My accounts are frozen. The board's calling emergency meetings, are you behind this?" I let the silence hang just long enough. "You didn't tell me you were dating my wife," I said quietly. "And she didn't tell you who her husband is." Then I hung up. For the next 2 days, the world around them collapsed. Monroe Holdings issued a press statement about restructuring under new ownership. Investors demanded answers. Chase's car collection went up for liquidation. Lena tried calling again. Dozens of messages. Apologies. Explanations. Each one more desperate than the last. "He said he loved me, Jack. I didn't know you were this successful, why didn't you tell me? We can fix this, please." I never replied. Instead, I sent a short text. "Love built on money dies as soon as the balance changes." A week later, I ran into Chase at the same hotel where we'd first met. He looked smaller. Suit wrinkled. Eyes tired. He tried to act confident, but I could see the panic under his skin. "Jack, we can make a deal," he said. "You don't have to." "I already did," I interrupted. "You sold me your company. You sold your leverage. And you sold your dignity the night you threw that dollar at me." His mouth twitched. "You can't just." "I can," I said. And I did. I walked past him without another glance. That night, I drove to the ocean. Sat on the hood of my car and listened to the waves hitting the shore. The air was cold, sharp, alive. I pulled that same dollar bill from my pocket, the one he'd tossed at me like spare change. It had been folded neatly ever since. I held it up against the sky. The moonlight made the paper glow faintly. Then I tore it in half and let the pieces drift away on the wind. That was my closure. Not shouting. Not revenge for revenge's sake. Just quiet, clean balance. But stories don't end that neatly. Not when people like Lena realize what they've lost. A month later, she showed up at my office lobby. Security called to ask if I wanted her escorted out. I said no. I wanted to see her one last time. She walked in, trembling slightly. Different dress, same perfume. "Jack," she whispered. "I've been staying with my sister. I lost my job. Chase disappeared. I don't even know who I am anymore." I looked at her carefully. She was thinner, paler. The confidence she once wore like jewelry had vanished. "I didn't come to gloat," I said. "But I think you came to the wrong place looking for sympathy." Tears filled her eyes. "I made a mistake. I thought you were small because you didn't show off. I thought money made people bigger. But now I see." She reached for my hand. I stepped back. "Now you see," I said softly, "that real power doesn't shout." She nodded, crying quietly. "Do you hate me?" I took a breath. "No. Hating you would mean I still care. I'm just done." She lowered her head. "Will you ever forgive me?" I looked toward the window, the skyline glowing beyond the glass. Forgiveness isn't the same as reopening the door you locked yourself out of. Then I turned and walked away. That night, I drove past the old house one last time. The lights were off. The garden overgrown. For a moment, I remembered her laughter echoing through those rooms, the smell of her coffee in the morning. Memories are strange, they hurt and heal at the same time. I parked for a minute, then started the engine again. I'd already bought another place, smaller, quieter, overlooking the coast. New start. New air. People often ask me now why I don't wear designer suits, why I still drive the same old car. I just smile. Because I learned something priceless the night she left me. Money doesn't reveal who you are. It exposes who others are around you. I took my wife to a party once, thinking we were celebrating life together. But it turned out we were celebrating the moment she showed me her true self. And when she walked away chasing wealth. I found mine, sometimes, the people who underestimate you the most, end up teaching you what you're truly worth. If you felt that twist in your chest, you know what betrayal really feels like. Subscribe for more real stories that hit where it hurts, and remind you, revenge can be quiet, but unforgettable.